But tonight, the big story at the top is the black money tangle. That's just got possibly more complicated. An international expose has revealed the names of nearly 1,200 Indians with accounts in just one bank in Switzerland, the HSBC. But it's the amount in those accounts which is the real shocker. It comes to 25,000 crore rupees. The government, though, says that this is old information. Ashish Maharishi with our prime story tonight.
ये जो चोर लुटेरों के पैसे विदेशी बैंकों में जमा है ना, उतने भी हम रुपये ले आए ना, तो भी हिंदुस्तान के एक एक गरीब आदमी को मुफ्त में 15-20 लाख रुपए यूं ही मिल जाएगा.
The ante has just been upped against Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The 628 names with foreign accounts were not already a big political burden for the Prime Minister. The list now stands expanded to nearly 1,200 names. Indians who allegedly have 25,000 crore rupees in HSBC accounts in Switzerland. The government has, however, dismissed these revelations, part of a global investigation called Swiss Leaks, made by an English daily.
ये सारे स्विस बैंकों के नहीं है, केवल एक बैंक के हैं, HSBC. उस बैंक में से किसी ने डिटेल्स निकालकर किसी देश को दी थी और उन्होंने भारत को ये जानकारी दी थी. ये आज से 4-5 साल पहले हुआ था.
Importantly, the information is not current. It dates back 8 years to 2006-2007. The finance minister says that despite the information being available in 2010, no action was taken, giving the guilty enough time to transfer their funds. This has, however, not stopped the Black Money Special Investigation Team from taking note.
Certainly, Biden, we have to go through the names, we have to find out how much amount is less there, and action will be taken.
Political reactions have been shrill, targeting the Modi government.
Will only rise in the coming days, with 31st of March being the deadline for the Supreme Court monitored probe. Also, if sources are to be believed, government is all set to reveal at least 60 names of those holding black money accounts. And with the latest list, including names of politicians as well, stakes are high for the political class. This is Ashish Maharishi reporting for Headlines Today.
I want to go to Ashish Maharishi to break this down for all of us, to try and make sense of the big questions that have now emerged from more names coming out in these Swiss bank accounts. Ashish, make sense for us. Give us the big question that now lie unanswered and which the government of the day must answer on more names tumbling out of the HSBC list as a result of an investigation carried out by newspapers like the Indian Express.
Well, Rajdeep, if you see, the names that have come out are 1195 now. This is what, the ICIJ also says, that there are 1195 against whom action can be taken. But again, Rajdeep, after the 628 names that the government was talking about, what one fails to understand, why did the government of India did not have in its, these names in their hand? Now, if you, subtract 1195 out of 628, it is like 567 names. And the deadline, Rajdeep, is 31st March 2015, because after that, the entire effort becomes null and void, because if you remember, there was an amendment brought to the Income Tax Act that they can open cases only up to 16 years. Earlier it was 6 years. So finally they are left with, hardly any time, and it is very difficult to understand how can they take action, how can they, assess 567 accounts in such a short period of time. The other thing is that why did the authorities, now if you go to the press release today, they said that they are going to contact Falciani, who was the source of this, who was the whistleblower. Now, one fails to understand again that why did it wait for 4 years, whether it was the earlier government or this government, why did it take so much of time to contact the source of information? They said they have contacted French authorities, but as we know that this data which was revealed by Falciani and given to French authorities, they could have easily approached the source, and the source was open to give data, and he said that it is only 1% of information that they have. And the last question is that, with this, the HSBC, they have admitted their laxity. Now, is the government going to take action against HSBC staff or not? Because they were the people who actually guaranteed that, you know, they're going to help siphon off tax, they're going to help evade tax, and they're not going to tell the authorities in India.
Right. So there are several big questions that you're saying, and you're clearly pointing out, Ashish, somewhere that these are questions that the government of the day. First, the UPA government, clear laxity, didn't act, and now you're asking those questions whether the NDA government is willing to do more. Ashish Mehrishi, who's been tracking that story, joining us there on the black money tangle. Thanks very much for joining us. Let's then turn to my first big question as I'm trying to unravel the black money tangle. We'll have an explainer and get in experts, but first the politicians. The black money tangle, who benefits politically? This is a hot potato issue, one which has been used by the opposition to target Narendra Modi, saying Mr. Modi promised to bring back black money in 6 months. What happened to that? Salman Soos, spokesperson of the Congress, is joining me, and Sambit Patra, national spokesperson of the BJP. Sambit Patra, as you've now seen the number of offshore accounts, not all of them black money, and we must make that distinction very clear. Number of offshore accounts that need to be investigated just got that much more. From 628, we are now talking of over 1,200 accounts. Now, far from the money coming back in the 6 months that Narendra Modi promised it would, your government will actually have to now investigate even more accounts to find out whether they are legal or illegal. Where does that leave the government's claim that they will ensure that the black money comes back to the country?
No, this only emboldens the government's claim, because let me tell you, of the 628 case which was being mentioned by Ashish Mehrishi right now, assessment and in fact kind of investigation is almost closing on 350, on which 60 people already have been prosecuted. The extraction of penalty is on these 350 cases. So in a very short span of time, which the previous government could not even achieve, did not even have the intention of achieving, this government not only showed a very strong intention by establishing an SIT and taking all the right steps in the right direction, but in the best possible way have also started working to show results as well. And today the finance minister has also come on record to say that most of the names that were made public by the journalistic adventure, in fact, were with the Indian government, apart from a few which you showed right now, the veracity of which would be tested, and thereafter, as you rightly pointed out, some may not be black money and some definitely may be black money.
But
the veracity would be tested.
Deadline of March 31st. There's a deadline of March 31st, and now we have additional 640 names almost coming up after this new report. Where will you have the time to investigate all these individuals?
No, definitely. I mean, this is rightly pointed out that the deadline is March 31st, since the IT Act was amended and 16 years of extension was made, and most of these transactions took place somewhere around 2000, and the expose was of 2006. I agree to that. But definitely looking at the speed which the government has worked, and that's the reason as to why I was giving you the statistics, that already 350 people have been assessed and 60 prosecuted. So definitely looking at the speed, so if 527 are the left out figure and half of them may be the people who have black money, definitely we would be able to achieve that within the span of time that we have left.
Okay, you're claiming that you will achieve that, because the fact is that Salman Soos, what is coming out clearly is the Congress certainly had no intention. The UPA in the 4 years, from 2010, you didn't go after the whistleblower who was more than willing to share information with us. You didn't go to Mr. Falcioni, you didn't ask him for information. For 4 years, your government sat on these names. And that is why, as the finance minister rightly in a way put it today, most of the people have even withdrawn their money and perhaps moved it to another account. Let's be clear, the Congress between 2010 and 14 did precious little to really investigate the HSBC list.
Rajdeep, the infrastructure for detecting all this black money was, it was initiated during the UPA's time. And by the way, while Sambit is trying to hunt down 50 and 60 people, I don't know if he knows that our government in 2012-13 detected 30,000 crores of black money. And in 2013-14 detected 1 lakh crores of black money in this country.
No one significant was prosecuted for 4 years. Between 2010 and 14, no one significant was prosecuted. You did not act against HSBC Bank, which has admitted to laxity today. Let's be clear. There are questions that your government has to raise. I mean, at least the NDA can claim we've got an SIT, 60 people have been prosecuted.
No, 60 people have not been prosecuted yet. The point is that, first of all, from 2006 onwards up to 2014, thousands upon thousands of crores of black money have been recovered. Forget detection that I talked about, recovered. Now that means our government was going after black money. Now these people made a lot of, they made a big deal about going after offshore accounts and black money out there, and then the current Prime Minister made this political jumla of, putting 15 lakh rupees into every account and all that stuff. And then today the Finance Minister says, and I think you must have this information, he says, names are not enough, we should have evidence. Now, does he want journalists to go and collect evidence as well? What is his government going to do?
No, both the political parties, particularly the Congress party, particularly the Congress party. Now, there are names which have come out, they may have legitimate accounts. And yet, the fact is, because you never concluded the investigation, we will never know. The fact is, if you had investigated, we would have known who has an illegal account, who doesn't. But for 4 years, you sat on these names. That's exactly what the whistleblower has said. Whistleblower was ready to share information with you in 2010. You did not act on that information.
No, even the point is, for all these years, if there's any black money that has been recovered in this country, it has been by the UPA. If most of the 100% of black money that has been detected in this country is by the UPA. The NDA, by contrast, did not do anything in its 6 years. Now the question is, what is the government of the day going to do about it? Are they just going to make political jumlas, or are they going to act? Now they promised the Indian people something.
I am going by hard facts.
That's it.
I am going by hard facts, and the hard facts clearly show that between 2010 and 2014, none of the enforcement agencies seem to act against most of the people who are named in this list. At least tell us whether they are actually having legal accounts or illegal accounts. Otherwise, you've got into a situation where every time a list comes, there is a smoke screen created. But, Sambit Patra, for that very reason, why isn't your government also transparent and tell us who are those individuals being prosecuted? Who are those individuals who have paid penalties? That's the way forward. Let's make it transparent. Every time, otherwise the list comes out in the newspaper, there will be suspicion. Is a particular industrialist having a black money account, or was it an account which he had legally declared with the RBI?
Let me remind you of the fact, Rajdeep, that in fact the whole issue is with the SIT now, the SIT which is being looked after by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is monitoring it. We have submitted the list of the people to the SIT, to the Supreme Court as well. And in fact, it is the prerogative of the SIT and the Supreme Court if they want to make the names public or not. And as and when they get prosecuted, definitely the names would come to the fore. As we had seen, 3 names had already come to the fore, and the 60 people who have been prosecuted within a short span of time, definitely their names would be made public, because that is what is the rule of the land.
But you concede, as even the Finance Minister admitted today, that really, frankly, by now, either the statute or limitations will operate, and many people will say that we had these accounts more than 16 years ago, or you will have a situation where they've already moved the money. The fact is that it is too little too late. Will you concede that? So the Prime Minister of the country who said that I will bring back the money and every Indian will have 15 lakhs in his account, that was just an attempt being made to woo the voter. You will have to concede that too.
It was an electoral gimmick.
As far as the amount is concerned, and as far as the calculations are concerned, let me remind you of the CBI director, Mr. Singh, who in fact had pointed out in the Interpol conference that a humongous amount, approximately $50 billion of India in fact is stashed abroad. And definitely when the CBI director says that, it is an official figure. Even this official figure was quoted in front of the Supreme Court as well. So it's but natural that we in the opposition have to go by the official figure that was quoted by the then government and its CBI director.
What are you saying? I mean, you people did not go by any official data during the election process. You were quoting such high figures. We now need all that money back in this country. You have to stand by that. Now, you cannot say that, oh, by the way, now we'll go by the official data. Why did you not go by official data then? Why did Mr. Modi not go by official data? Why did Baba Ramdev not go by official data? Why are you talking about official data now? Why will you not talk about the 15 lakh rupees that each and every Indian should have? You have to answer. Now is the time to answer the people of this country.
My dear Salman, it is almost as if you are teasing me. Look, I have looted the country and
I'm
as
not
yet
teasing
you
you.
have
This is
not
very serious.
retrieved the
For
money.
you people, it has become a joke.
Salman, cool down.
You people
Salman.
have made the black money issue into a joke.
Cool down, Salman. Please
This
be
is a
patient.
very serious issue.
Don't be angry. Don't be angry, Salman.
Can I?
Salman,
We have
Salman,
we have a
don't be
right to be
angry. Cool down. Let
We
me
have a
answer.
right to be angry.
I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there.
You have right to be angry, my God. The one who manufactured the black money
Yes, we have a right to be angry because you people have misled the people of this country.
This is the best joke I've heard on black money.
Played with
Don't
those
be
sentiments,
angry.
and now
I'm going to leave it there.
what you promised.
I'm going to leave it there. The Congress says the BJP has fooled the people by promising 15 lakhs per individual to return to the country as a result of black money abroad. The BJP says the Congress didn't act on the black money issue for years. We're going to leave it there. That's where the two political parties stand. But I want to now find out what is the truth. What will it really take to bring back black money tangle? How do we look at this new list? Joining me now is Sandeep Bamzai, editor of Mail Today, and also joining me is former Additional Solicitor General Bishwajit Bhattacharya. Appreciate both of you joining us. Sandeep, what is the truth in this case? More names coming out in the public domain. Do you believe that this list really throws fresh light, or is it simply more of the same? Does it result in actually any tangible progress in the entire investigation?
This expose is a complete fraud for the simple reason that, to the credit of Prashant Bhushan and Arvind Kejriwal, in the month of November in 2012, on the 9th exactly, they did a press conference where they gave the same names.
Now we have been told those names were part of a list of about 630. Now there are 300. There are another 542
the exact
names.
Same names were given by both Prashant Bhushan and Arvind Kejriwal at a press conference.
That was 2012.
That was November 9, 2012. This is the same HSBC list, the same list that Harvey Falciani, who was a software engineer with HSBC, who stole this data and then sold it to different entities across the world.
The fact is that this data came...
None of this is new.
You're saying none of it is new. So there's nothing... So therefore, to that extent, you're saying...
you know the best part? You know the best part? The best part is that all of us covered this event. Mail Today, for instance, covered the event. We actually went out and sought information from all the people named, and all the people named gave the same rejoinders that have appeared in the newspaper today.
Are you saying that all these individuals now will say today, could well say today, that this is not an illegal account that we had, we took permission from the Reserve Bank, or will say that we don't have any money in those, because we've already found 200 of these accounts don't have a single paisa in them?
Two things. One, as I've explained in the past also, Indians are legally allowed through something called a liberalized remittance scheme to take $125,000 US per individual, which has now, only a few days ago, on the 2nd of Feb, when the RBI announced its policy review, been jacked up to $250,000 per individual, which means for a family of 4, $1 million US, which is 6.3 crores, can be taken abroad.
But we still need to know. We still need to know which of these individuals has kept this money legally and which individual has kept it illegally. Have they paid their penalties?
Absolutely.
Should this not be revealed and put out in the public domain?
I'm saying none of this is new. Each and every name was given out by Arvind Kejriwal and Prashant Bhushan with rejoinders from each and every entity or individual.
And we still don't know whether the government acted on that list or not.
So when I saw Salman Soz blowing hot and cold on the channel, I'm surprised. We're talking 2012.
Okay,
and the best part is that nobody bothered with Prashant Bhushan and Arvind Kejriwal at that particular point in time, thinking that this is a whole lot of hogwash.
Let me bring in Bishwajit Bhattacharya at this point. Mr. Bishwajit Bhattacharya, do you believe that this list will actually result in black money coming back? Will we ever know who are the individuals who actually had legal accounts or illegal accounts? Should this be revealed or not at this stage? Should the government be revealing it? Otherwise, every now and then, fresh lists, so-called fresh lists will come out and will create some kind of a controversy where political parties go at each other, but the money never will come back to this country.
Rajdeep, there are two distinct issues here. The number one issue is whether the list should be revealed or not. It is already revealed in the Indian Express today, and I find that lot of account holders have basically admitted the fact that they are having account. So the authenticity of Indian Express report is by and large stands established. Now the next question for consideration is, the government has been pretty lax in carrying out investigation. And Rajdeep, the investigating agency here is the Enforcement Directorate, not the Income Tax Department. Income Tax Department has no power to confiscate assets. Income Tax Department has no power to direct the account holders to repatriate the funds. It is only the Enforcement Directorate. So the Enforcement Directorate under the UPA government and BGA government have continued to be completely lax, inert, and they have not performed their statutory obligation.
My limited...
So to that extent, BJP and UPA have joined hands.
Let me though raise
acting-
the question. Are you very clear in your mind that each and every individual who's named in that account has not declared it before the RBI? We don't know that. So therefore, some of them may have legal accounts, some of them may have illegal accounts. Should the government...
We're talking about 10-year-old data. This is income tax assessment year 2006, 2007.
So some of them have illegal accounts and some of them have legal accounts.
Yes.
Now the line of demarcation between legality and illegality can be determined only by the Enforcement Directorate.
So you're saying the Enforcement Directorate has not acted? You're effectively saying that the Enforcement Directorate has not acted?
Has not acted at all.
Okay.
So Enforcement Directorate comes directly under the Finance Ministry.
But there is a reason for that.
Tax Department.
There is a reason for that. The reason is that the Income Tax Department was given this
one by one.
Taxation. Taxation is one aspect.
Right.
Repatriation of funds is another aspect.
Can I just bring in...
confiscation is fund is the third aspect.
Okay.
So it is the bounden obligation of the government of the day to basically remove the cloud who are the legitimate account holders and who are not the legitimate account holders. This investigation is actually the obligation of the Enforcement Directorate, who have singularly failed to carry out.
Can I just bring in Sandeep for a moment? Sandeep, is there a sense that the Enforcement Directorate should, over the last 4 years, since Falciani had these details, brought them out into the public domain, over the last 5 years, has the Enforcement Directorate tried to decide which of these individuals has legal accounts, who has illegal accounts, who has to pay a penalty, who doesn't pay a penalty, or is it under the Income Tax Department?
We've gone over this ground earlier.
Confiscation also.
We've gone over this ground earlier. We know for a fact that all this while the Income Tax Department was chasing shadows, that the Enforcement Directorate was never brought into the loop. It is only...
Isn't that a failure?
Of course, it is only after the new government...
It is an utter failure.
It is only after the new government set up...
And I'm surprised that nobody is raising this issue.
Just a minute.
Something that we've discussed this in the past.
But Sandeep, is there a question now that even today, that this has to be settled now by the Enforcement Directorate, not by the Income Tax Department, and it must be brought into the public domain, otherwise this smoke screen will always remain?
And Rajdeep, prosecution is not the answer.
Okay, you're saying confiscation, you're saying it's not just prosecution, it's confiscation.
Answer is identification of legitimate account versus illegitimate account.
Yes,
let's understand that we are talking about data which goes back almost 10 years. We are talking about 2006-2007 assessment year as far as the income tax thing is concerned. That is 9 years ago. Now some of this money may have well been remitted out, some of this money may have well have been taken out, some of this money may well be legal for all you know. How is it that the Enforcement Directorate...
But are you telling me the Income Tax Department in 8 years cannot tell us that?
But the income tax...
You're talking about Income Tax 2006-07. We are now in 2015. Should they not be telling us?
Unfortunately, this entire investigation was given to the Income Tax Department, which did not do anything. It is only after the creation of the SIT where the Enforcement Director and the Enforcement Directorate was brought into the loop as far as this investigation is concerned. The Income Tax Department has no jurisdiction on the matter. Because we are talking about offshore banks. What jurisdiction does the Department of Income Tax have?
So do you believe now they have the wherewithal or the capacity over the next 3 months to tell us which of these individuals has legal accounts, which doesn't have legal...
We are dealing with specifics here. Let's look at a specific. The specific is this is 2006-2007 assessment year. This data is ossified. We don't even know whether these accounts continue to exist. If in 2007-2008 the government of the day knowing fully well that Harvey Falciani is distributing this for a prize, if they had acted then we would have had the answer to these questions.
Okay, I think that effectively really in a nutshell puts the extent of the problem. If we had acted in 2007-8, we wouldn't have been in the situation that we perhaps are. Now we are chasing shadows is what is being suggested. Vishwadeep Bhattacharya and Sandeep Bams, I appreciate your joining us. My take.